if not before. Is that funny, Liz?
Could be.
How about this? Let's try this today.
Ooh. Good morning. It's Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, something like that.
Good morning. We are almost through the second March of the pandemic, which has really been one really long March.
It's still March.
How you doing today? Okay, let's do introductions first, and then I'm gonna go off on my tangent because I have a tangent. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
Oh, that just pulled out half of my bun. Whatever. I'm trying to make these buns in the back with the little twisty things you gave me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not with my hair. No, the top one works beautifully, and it looks all artsy and fluffy. And if I try to do a bottom one, like try to do two,
you probably need more pins. Or
there's two in there.
I need 3.
But I only have 3, and there's one in the top. Okay. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in sunny and almost but not quite chilly and warming up nicely Brevard, North Carolina.
Liz, I'm the minion there.
It's going to get cold on
Thursday.
But right now, over the weekend we had this is my second tangent because my first I haven't talked about yet. We cracked the window and woke up on like Saturday morning and I said, it's cold in here, close the window.
I've slept in like the 30s. Window and the fan on all week, and only a cotton, not a flannel, but a cotton sheet and a
she likes cold temperatures. I don't.
If I wake up hot, life is just awful. So
never mind, it just dropped.
Boop.
I was gonna show you what's in my hair. But my first tangent. So this is the things I put it on my forehead so you can see it. That are keeping
screw bobby pins.
She got them for me. They're awesome, but they're only awesome on the top one. What was I saying? I don't even remember.
You had a tangent.
Oh, yeah, well, the other tangent, it's unrelated to like being cold or not at night or whatever. I was saying to Brian. Brian was like, well, I said, once a week right now we're getting crazy weather. And he said, well, that is how it comes out, or how it ends. You're talking about March. And I said, actually, and I use this in my newsletter, the saying goes, in like a lion, out like a lamb.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, it isn't around here. He'd never heard that before.
What?
I'm just outing him on our YouTube channel. He'd never heard that phrase before.
I've lived like everywhere, and they all use that.
I know, right? But I mean, and that's fine. But I just had the joke of like, oh yeah, honey, because you haven't heard it means no one says it. He's like, well, I'm glad you see things my way. We were totally joking, both of us. But it not the first time that's happened. But I wanted to go look it up and be like, see? And I never got around to it. But I was just like, really? What?
Yeah.
I'm glad you had that reaction. Now I feel vindicated.
You should be, because yeah.
Because I'm like,
everywhere.
I use that in my newsletter because people will recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they probably didn't say it on Star Trek. So
he also lived a sheltered.
Yeah, I was trying not to say that. But
I mean, I was sheltered, but
I was sheltered in a different way. So we all have led sheltered lives in different ways. But yes, I've at least heard like a lion, out like a lamb. And that was part of the joke of my newsletter, or kind of alluded to in my newsletter, is that we haven't had that. But if we did, lambs, yay, wool, yay. I was being all, cute. Anyway, there was part of the second tangent that I mentioned first that I lost track on, because these things, it probably was about these things. I love them.
I always find mine work best for little buns if I do it when my hair is wet.
This one up here, look, okay, non-knitting tangent. This one up here, this will probably stay all day and look like and feel like it's going to fall out, but it won't, and it'll be gorgeous. And this one, my mask touched and it's already ripping off. I thought, anyway, so I might just do a ratty ponytail.
You had to do a weird.
I had to do it from the bottom, but then that didn't really hold either. It's, and I've cut some of the layers. It's because my hair still has some random layers, and I'm the only one who's touched it with scissors in a year, which means my hairstylist, if I ever get back to him, is going to be mortified by my hair. But, it's always up, so who cares? I mean, those of you who watch my tips and tricks,
get to see it down.
Get to see it down and frizzy and weird. And some days it's happy and a lot of days it's not. But then I get to go, look how long and curly my hair is. It's like a big triangle comes out from my head now. Because I don't have a hairstylist to shape it and give it layers and whatever. Okay. I think I've digressed long enough because we have so many things to talk about today. And I'm just realized that clock has stopped. Yeah. I'm like, it was at 5 of when we started filming, and it's still at 5 of. And it's not 5 of midnight. 9, it's 5 of midnight. Okay, so we're going to have to keep track a different way. This is reminiscent of the early days when I set a timer. It was like 5 minutes, we need to wrap up. And now we go for how long?
Like 45.
Minimum. Okay. Yeah, I got my phone. I can look at my phone. I'm gonna look at that and keep thinking it's the same
we both have watches, we both have phones sitting on the table. So it's not like we can't tell time. But there's a clock right over there.
I put a clock over there so I can talk to Liz and look over her shoulder and go, oh, look, it's time to wrap up. Because even with no show notes, I'm at least mildly organized in some ways. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to have to stop looking at that now. I'm glad I noticed.
It because you're going to keep looking at it going.
No, I'm going to try real hard not to. Let's talk about what we did for the weekend, I guess, right? Is that what we should talk? Can I?
You can.
Okay.
You should.
I blocked my sweater. Okay, so those of you who have been following this, yes, this is like the 4th show in a row that I've worn the sweater. But part of that is to show off the process of the sweater. So last Tuesday, y'all got to see it done, but not all the ends woven in. I had some tails hanging out of sleeves and my butt and stuff, and and then it was I wove in all the ends, and I hadn't blocked it yet, and I was like, I don't know if I need to. It looks pretty good. I blocked it over the weekend, and both Liz and I were saying
it needed to be blocked.
It looks better. It looks so much better now. And when I blocked it, I mean, I'll share when I sit down, but no, I'll share now. When I blocked it, I measured before I soaked it. And so I had the schematic to kind of compare against, and some of my measurements were longer than the schematic because I made like one stripe more length here. My sleeves are actually shorter than her sleeves because I got stubby arms. But I took the measurements and I soaked it, and I was a little worried that this color, the maroon, might bleed a little because your red did bleed.
My red did bleed.
Although when we rolled it up in the towels, it didn't squelch onto the towels and leak color. The water was full of color, but it wasn't the kind of bleeding that.
Yeah, the towel
was fine.
It was fine.
We're gonna see that in a second. This is like blocking day. We get to see hers next. She did a little, so I soaked it. I spun it out in the washer spin cycle, so it was just damp. Alexander was at our house, and I said, I just soaked this, and he said it just feels cold. I'm like, that's because it's just damp. And I laid it out, and when I laid it out and measured it, it didn't really need to be pulled. If anything, it needed to be kind of softly squished, and then it was rumply, and I spent all this time patting it to try to get the rumples out, and I spent more time doing that than any pinning or anything. I didn't pin it at first.
And that was all before the cat.
Yeah, that's another story. Hang on. But I just laid it out nicely and kind of squished, didn't pull it, like in laying it out like this, then kind of went like this. But look at it. I mean,
it lays beautiful.
The neck is still wide. I kind of tried to squish that too, but the neck hangs better. Liz was saying, if you noticed last week, I was getting a little crease between the girls, and that seems to have gone away. We'll see with time. It's laying flatter. It feels smoother. It was already soft. But even when I folded it up to get ready to like put it by the door to put it on this morning, the stitches lie flatter. So it's not rumpling as much as it did down at the bottom here.
Because it relaxed the ribbing at the bottom enough to make it not balloon.
Looking over my shoulder, it looks like the stripes are sagging a little in the back, but but when it was laid out, you almost couldn't see where I had sewn all my ends in. there's a couple of spots where the jogless join or the ends I could have pulled a little tighter to make it a little more even, but you don't want to pull too tight because then that sucks up all the ends. The sleeves are really nice. Like this, I'm very happy I blocked it. And honestly, you can use Eucalypt and we sell it here. I just use butter. If you want it to smell nice and if you want to be a little cleaner, use the Eucalypt. A little bit goes a long way. But
I would use Eucalypt if I'm washing a sweater, like after long wear.
Yeah.
That, you know.
Oh yeah. But some people like to use it when they're blocking, and that's totally fine. So again, here's the story. Now that I said no, so I just laid it out, and the cat instantly went on top of it. You can go on my Instagram and see pictures of him looking so cute that Alexander took, because he likes to lay on damp knitting. He likes knitting of mine. He likes the damp knitting when it's being blocked.
Probably would love a flock of wet sheep.
Probably. Although he might be freaked out because they'll make noise.
Yeah.
But so I said, that's okay. You know, he can lay on it.
He generally does.
He generally does. There's a spot in one of these sleeves when I was laying it out to block that was extra fuzzy. And I'm like, he's licked that? That's my worst fear. He started playing with a toy while on my sweater while we were both there. And his feet locked in. And Alexander was worried because he'd thrown the toy. He said, no, as long as we can get him off, I can unlock, I can push it back out again. And we went off to do our business for the rest of the morning. I went back to check on it midday, and it was in a rumpled heap, kind of like this, at the corner of the blocking pads. And I went, And the cat had been sleeping on me half the morning, so he must have done something to it. Maybe he got scared and then came and laid on me. Didn't think there was anything wrong. My cat doesn't apologize. Are you kidding?
If I go cuddle with mom, she won't be mad.
I think he went like, well, that happened. Where's mom? When I picked it up to go lay it out again, saying I should probably pin it in place a little bit, there was a pull this long. One stitch had been pulled this far out of this sweater in the back somewhere where it was maroon, right where the maroon met like the charcoal. And I went, oh, what I think, my theory is not that he decided to suddenly hug this thing and roll around. My theory is that he got stuck on it or startled.
And couldn't get off.
And couldn't get free and kept yanking and yanking and yanking. And that's what happened. So I took it in the other room with a really small double point and I eased that. I did not go, oh no, my sweater is ruined for life. You probably can't even see where it was. I gently, you could feel the tightness right around that pull, and I gently eased out the stitches and redistributed that long pull into either side and laid it back out again, measured and patted and all over again, and then stuck pins in the top, in the collar and the hem and the end of the sleeves. So at the very least, and he did mess up one shoulder, at the very least, it was going to stay to the measurements I wanted, and I just had to smooth it out again. So that's my story of blocking this. But I'm so glad I did. It already looked awesome. It's even warmer and more comfy and just feels even better now that I've
everything fluffed.
Everything fluffed and calmed at the same time. You know, like it feels wonderful. I feel very, very happy in this now. So that's my blocking story from the weekend, and your blocking story involves the same yarn.
Yes. Friday afternoon, I said, hey, after our 3 o'clock appointment, we didn't have any appointments after that. And I was like, I'm going to pin out my shawl on the rug in the middle of it's in the middle of the shop. So you really can't block it and have people in because there's like little paths.
It's hard to block. Like we used to block in certain areas of the shop and like leave it overnight or leave it the weekend. And there's very few areas in the shop where there's enough space to block, period. Yeah. And you had plans to do this most of the week. You were like, this is my plan for Friday.
This is my plan for Friday.
You thought about doing it Monday night.
I thought about coming in like in the middle of the...
She called me up. She's like, so I'm thinking. It didn't happen.
Didn't happen. But we laid plastic down. One of the yarn companies, when they have little extra room on top, they throw in these gigantic trash bags. And I cut 2 of them open and it almost perfectly covered the rug. Had to cut just a little sliver for like 1 inch at the very top of the rug. And Rebecca is like, okay, can I help? And I was like, yeah, I don't care.
When it's not mine, I like to help block. I like to pin things out. When it's mine, I have a backlog of things that need to be blocked.
we anchored the center right over the center of the rug.
Mean, it was a good idea, and then you slid the plastic.
Yeah.
You slid off the middle, and we had to but once we got it settled, it was a great idea to pin the center to the center.
Yeah, really and cool. Then basically we just pulled everything to the outside edge of the rug.
We like started opposite sides
and shifted around. Yeah, it was super fast, super great, super easy because circle. I could not imagine pinning on not circle for a circle shawl. Like everybody that gets that right, yeah, you're awesome.
Well, usually when I have to pin and I have to redistribute my pins and take a look at it from afar and tinker, and we really didn't have to do that, which is very cool. There are pictures on Instagram and Facebook and in my newsletter of it pinned out because it looks so cool, because it's so hard to show off against this busy background. But we're still gonna try.
Well, here, hold on. I'm gonna put it on like they did.
Oh, I'm gonna stand up to the side. Oh, look at that.
I'm stuck.
Can I help?
It's like a fishing net.
She caught herself, people. So the center is right here right now, so you know. So they all know. See that's the center star right there. And then you can see a thistle. I can't look over there. Thistle. That's the first layer of thistles. And then the lower layer of thistles you can't see because it's behind the microphone. But you can, there you can see on the side. Look. This side. Oh, there's one like right here. Oh, I can't, no.
You can't move them.
If I move it off the dress, you can't see it.
They're stuck. Oh, there's a thistle.
It's a giant circle that we can't hold up right now and show off because it's so big. We think that the rug is 6 feet across. So that's
you kind of like, I have to kind of
looks so pretty.
Drape part of it.
Remember we said if you want, you can fold it in half and wear it, but not folded in half. This actually looks pretty cool. And she put it on before we started filming and instantly said, I'm hot. All warm. That openness. Oh my gosh. So someone replied to the newsletter and said, oh, if Liz wants to publish that pattern, I'd buy it. And I'm like,
it's a published pattern.
I put in the newsletter. It's an out of print pattern.
Yeah.
It's not her pattern.
No.
She can't publish it and we can't sell it and make money off of it because we're not the ones who made it. We can't just take that screenshot and say, here, buy this, because that's wrong. There are people who do that, but that's not right.
No, I found the chart.
You got to go find the chart yourself
on Pinterest and
figure it out.
Yeah, it was lost followers on Facebook.
that was she didn't actually. That was a little scammy thing that popped up. So.
But it's just the chart, and the only instructions on the chart were in French. So
oui.
Yeah.
That is Redstone version of the colors. My color is not in her shawl, but her shawl is the same yarn as my sweater. When you crochet with it, it becomes a little thicker. But this is still, we've had a knitter who's now wanting to crochet a lot, and she's like, I want to make delicate things with crochet. And it's like, then you have to go much thinner with the yarn and possibly bigger with the hook to help it be softer.
I used an eye on that. Like
I left my crochet at home, but she was eyeing the shawl I'm making. I'm doing it with lace weight. I'm using a small hook, but that's because the yarn is so thin and it's very delicate looking. But the way to so crochet can be delicate, but you need to thin it out.
Yeah, I used sport weight with fingering yardage.
Borderline between the two.
And I used an eye hook because I wanted.
I made another color combo. If you want to do a more colorful, I like the neutrals with the dark pop. It's really nice for the sweater. But I put we made another color combo for this sweater it uses that red. It uses a nice blue, the rose color, which is really a dusky pink kind of, and moss green. I think that would be gorgeous. And remember, I had leftover from 4 skeins of this yarn. was big enough for the 50-inch bust size of this sweater, and I had leftovers. So, but I made the torso a little longer, but my arms are also shorter. So, you know, there's wiggle room in there. So that's the blocking like adventures that we had this weekend. What else did you work on this weekend that you might want to mention? She's made amazing progress on her
I'm on
papillon.
row 14.
One of them. She's working on like three new ones since like a week or two ago.
This is the one that you and I are
competing
on.
But she started 2 more. So how's that a competition? Although I have a bajillion other projects on you. So
this is my zombie fade, and I'm on row.
Oh, you can see some of those colors
14.
this time. When the sun is out, we have such better lighting in the shop. You can see some of the color differences there. That's really, really pretty. And this is mostly.
It's all.
Is it all fiber spades? Okay.
Mm-hmm. My dirt, my brains, everything is fiber spades. I
brought in a sweater in fiber spades. That was my morning meditation today.
I
don't forget about it.
I don't know if they can just barely see the lines.
It's the black off black.
Yeah. And that I am to the start of row 11.
Okay.
I finished section 1 is done. And yes, I had to put in a right side marker because
I tell.
Could, when I'm working on it in the evening, or if it's backlit.
It right here. Yeah, it's too far away from the camera, but no. Yeah, if you put it against you, great. If you move it the slightest bit away from your body, it suddenly like you can only see your light stuff behind it. So you can't see it. Anyway, I can't see it. Gorgeous.
There we go. You
awesome.
can barely see the lines. Anyway, so I finished section 1 on that. And then I've kind of been obsessed with my sunset. So I have so many going on, but I've got to get back to my ghost, which is my linen gray. It looks like a ghost.
You really have to do any of this. You can do whatever you want to do.
And then I have a shadow, and then I have night, and I finally found sunset.
She's naming them. I love it.
So this
is stuck on everything.
But sunset is over halfway done with section 2.
Ooh, look at that. Ooh. You have some of the sunset color in there now.
Yeah.
That's so pretty.
And this, I want to say,
pick up on camera
this will be the last,
that's pretty.
The last row of blue. I might maybe do one more, but I don't think so. I think I'm going to go all into sunset.
We're brought to you by Purell.
Brought to you by Purell. So it goes
the past year is
dark
brought to you by Purell.
So the scrappy bit, we were talking about scrappy on Thursday. And what do you do with your leftovers? Well, when you get to this section and you're like, I have this really nice light blue, but I need something in the middle to go with it, which means I'm going to have to wait until.
She was so concerned. I mean, we do have a nice blue here that would have given this a totally different look.
Yeah.
Not totally different, but.
It would have added a third blue.
Scraps.
I had over half a skein of yarn baby that went beautifully in there. So.
It almost gives it like clouds.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it.
So I worked on all 3 of those. I was like, ooh, I could work on one a day, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And that didn't happen.
I'm like, why did my bag just clunk? There's a coffee mug in there. I need to give you. This in a second. Since we're on papillons, I'm going to bring up my papillon.
Yes, because your papillon is gorgeous.
Okay, so mine had the dark. I'm using this Lang Puno giant bullseye cake, dark, medium, light brown. And section 1 I did with the dark, and I finished section 1. I'm a little bit into section 2. So I balled off the rest. Look at this. I balled off the rest of the dark. At some point later, I'll figure out how much this is. Not worried about it right now. But I'm hanging on to it for highlights and accents later in the shawl. I think it'll be really fun. So I started, here's what's left of my giant bullseye. And I started doing section 2. So the one, where are you on the one we're competing with?
I am on row 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay, I just finished 13. So we're close.
We're close.
Here's, I was not trying to get close to you.
No,
I just, I did a section for morning meditation a couple days ago. And hang on, I'm on a 60-inch cord. and I'm only on stripe 13 of the second section. Yeah, I know you're all like, but you're not holding it up.
It's wonky to hold up on needles. It just is.
I'm trying not to have yarn hanging in front. So here's how mine's looking. Ta-da! It's only going to have 3 colors of this. You know, each section I'm going to change to a lighter color, and then I'm going to put some pops in. I'm following some of the moth highlights, not the color changes particularly. I'm doing that when I want, but I put the eyelets in between section 1 and 2. And I did that in the medium brown to kind of transition to the medium brown. I think it's looking really, really pretty. And I have tons of dark left over for fun later. It's going to, and this, the length, I'm going all over the place, I know, but this Puno is alpaca and merino and silk, and it's so luscious to knit with. It's just,
it really is.
It's squishy and soft. And my contrast, to remind everybody, is Cascade Heritage Snow. It's a nice creamy color. So pretty. So I love your color changes though. I mean, this is what, they're all unique. It's really, really fascinating.
The cool thing about the Papillon that everybody's like, you're doing another one. And it's like, well, of course. And even though occasionally I'm like, okay, I'm out of ideas, there's always another idea, color combination. Like you can do do the fadey thing she suggests for the moth variant, and it blends the colors beautifully. You can do your own colors. You can say, hey, I want to paint with it and make a sunset. Like it's fun. You can do a fade. Yeah. You can, I've seen people do rainbows. It's just really, really cool. Okay. So I finished this and wore it on Thursday and said, look, I'm done with the project for the week. And I did not bring it home to block it. This could look better. However, I still wanted to finish one of my bigger, older projects. So you did. So now you have something to wear on Thursday, right? Someone listened far enough to know that we're open at 10. Okay. Yes, especially if I block it. So I realized because this was on the blocking pads, I was not going to have time to block my honey moss. Look how huge this is. Oh my gosh. Right? It's going to get bigger when I block it too. It's going to be awesome. So this is my honey moss by Andrea Mowry. And I use Barocco Ultra Alpaca. This lovely, heathery, yummy green. Oh my gosh. So if y'all remember the odyssey of this, it was in timeout for a little while. The bottom part, it's an asymmetrical, grows 1 stitch every right side row, starts way down here. All the first half of this was cabling, honeycomb cabling. Show you that again. I love cables. But then when I hit the lace work part, it started to really fly. This is like she likes lace. I like lace. I like everything. So look at that lovely pattern, and that pattern will really sing when I block it. This is unblocked. See, do you notice how it's kind of a little rumply? It will lie flatter. It will have better texture. If you like rumply, that's great. But your lace work will get shown off so much better. You'll be so much happier with it when you block it. I see people on Knit and Chat all the time who are like, what's wrong with my thing? And why does it look funny? It's not blocked yet. It'll be fine. Or, it'll get better. Perfection is not the goal here. There are things I am willing to leave unblocked because they're garter, or it will block with wear. Or it's just too big to block. Yeah. Like if I block it, it will wind up. This is going to probably take all of my blocking pads, and we'll just see. Yeah. So, but there are things you kind of need to block. Before I started this, the yardage implied I would need 5 skeins of Ultra Alpaca. And I think I have about a half a skein left. Or actually, I probably have more than half a skein left. I've got a good chunk of a skein left. But this is the top edge up here. There was an I-cord bind off, which is lovely. Hang on. This is where I started my 5th skein. So unless I stopped this smaller and didn't follow the whole pattern, I could not have done it without a 5th skein. So
This is super exciting. Technically it should be behind my last papillon in the queue to be blocked. We shall see. If I want to wear it for the super cold on Thursday, I should block it first. So we shall see. Let's get, yeah. Okay. So other things I worked on this weekend.
You worked on a lot. I just did.
I did. No, but you made good progress on the things. I make little, or like that thing, I made sure I finished. I worked on my cameo shawl by Melanie Rice. And this is the one that it may not look like I've done a whole lot since I last showed this off, but I have, because look how big it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's a snag right here. Look.
Oh no.
I think my cat snagged it with his claws. I will fix that. I will at least duck it to the backside. I don't think, if it's what that looks like is that a ply got snagged instead of the whole. I would have rather he snagged the whole entire yarn with his claw and pulled, because that's what happened with this sweater. One ply means I'm probably just gonna have to tuck it under and try to forget.
Sometimes it can be and worked out, and sometimes it just
with fiber spates.
It's
such a lovely springy yarn, because that's what this is. This is fiber spates DK, a little thicker than what we're using for the papillon over there. But I often can't work it back in. The cameo, several of my knitters, when I posted about this, went, intriguing, because the cameo is the idea, and it's the weight of it is not going to really work, is that you start at the longest spot, and I made it longer. You start at the longest spot and you're decreasing every row. So you end up with a triangle shawl, but it's not a triangle shawl where it goes out symmetrically this way. It's a triangle shawl where it just gets narrower. There are other triangle shawls where you start at the bottom and you get bigger as you go, and you lose the will to knit as you go. This, I'm losing the will to knit every few rows, but then picking it back up, and it's getting 2 stitches shorter every row. So
eventually she'll be like, boom, it's done.
Yeah. It'll go like, oh my gosh, I haven't made any progress. Oh my gosh, I haven't made any progress. Boom, done. Yeah. This is how the edge looks. Like the top edge right now is actually giving a little ruffle because of the stitch work, not because of any increasing or decreasing I did to create that higher and lower. It's putting in the lace work. Again, lace work and cable is my favorite, but they're at the same time here. Woohoo! But see, that's the angle right now with the shawl. It's going to be so lovely. This color of fiber spates is heavenly. We actually have one called Heavenly. This is not it. This is called Blush, but I think it's heavenly. So, that's not heavenly. That's
shoreline. Never mind. Heavenly is that. Yeah.
It's that really light blue with a hint of pink in it.
Yeah.
It's funky. It's very particular. If you like that particular color, it will sing to you. Think like ethereal clouds. So this thing is huge right now, and it's going to be getting smaller and smaller.
With the angle, you can already tell.
Yeah.
And you did an extra repeat of stitches to make it a little bigger.
I did. And she said, if you want to make it larger, it was like 260 to cast on. And if you want to make it larger, maybe it's more 260. But if you want to make it larger, it was like cast on another 71 or something. I'm still just approaching 300 stitches right now, that means. And about a row or two back, I'm already through a skein of yarn. This is a skein of yarn. And then as I go, a skein of yarn will get me further because the rows will be shorter. So that's that. A few other things to show you though. So that's still attached to a ball in my bag, so I'm going to put it back. I'm trying to decide which one to show you first. Okay, I started a new sweater. Hang on, I'll show you that in a minute. And this morning's morning meditation, because this ties into the fiber spates, it's one of the colors that Liz is using in her papillon. I joked on the morning meditation that because I finished a sweater and I started a new one, the ones that have been hanging out on needles are getting jealous. So
they kind of are.
I stayed up kind of late last night in bed knitting, and then I did more knitting this morning to get one of my sweaters to the shoulder separation, the sleeve separation.
What?
Yes, and it's in a. I'm out of project bags, so. so I don't forget about it. There's coffee mug. And this, it's that one of the reasons it's in this bag is because that's what my Big Sully fits in. There's been a mad rush on Big Sullies at the shop, let me tell you. This thing, when I first brought it in, I'm like, no, I was gonna buy this. It's huge. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I'm alternating skeins of yarn. So this keeps it contained with the holes in front. So I'm not worried. Sometimes I have to untangle them because I'm twisting them around each other because I'm changing skeins every row to make sure this is a little more blended. But this thing is just awesome and amazing. And the strap is still that I can measure with is still at home. But and it's got a little hinge open and shut. So enough about the Big Sully. It's amazing. It's on our website. Yay! This is my Golden Fern sweater. Now the Golden Fern, it's by Jennifer Steingass. It is flipped in that it has color work at the bottom. And so I was like, oh, it'll keep me excited for when things get boring. Usually when you get to the torso, things get boring. Guess what? Things got boring at the top because there was no color work. So it was in timeout for a little while. But look, it has sleeves now. Here's a sleeve. There's a sleeve. Ooh, looks like we're getting a no, never mind. I thought we were getting a trash can. It's going.
No, I think it's the shredding guys.
Oh, never mind. Squirrel. So 2 sleeves on holders. My minute of meditation was finishing putting a sleeve on a holder and doing the underarm cast on. You cast on stitches. And my beginning of round marker has moved to the middle of an underarm to make sure there's room under here. See that right there? Ooh, that's what I cast on this morning. This is the Spiced Plum Fiber Spates Vivacious 4-ply, which is one of the colors in Liz's Papillon.
Yes.
And I'm going to be alternating it with Burnished, which is this golden yellow yumminess.
Which will go in this.
Which, see? It's all connected.
Burnished is going to be my sun in the sunset.
So I was like, before I go too far down the rabbit hole of another sweater, which I'm about to show you. This one is on this is on the torso. Now I might actually get back to it. Might actually finish some sweaters. I have this one was finished
just in time for summer.
And you ever hear air conditioning, Liz? Anyway.
We were outside most of the year last year.
Were we? Oh yeah, that's right. Back and forth though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once I get
it
going
was like we were making a papillon, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, yeah. Back and forth.
Literal papillon in the shop. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I was down on a sweater on needles, so I put another sweater on needles, of course. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 6 sweaters on needles still, even though I finished this one. But the other one I have on needles is one that I've been talking about for so long, and I've switched concepts for yarn for this 3 times, and I'm finally making it. So I'm very excited about that. And oh, by the way, my pattern is in here. That bottom stuff is going to be in a golden yellow with this color right here. It's going to be so pretty. This is written to have color change through that bottom color work. I'm simplifying it and just using one color. It's kind of a little bit, ain't nobody got time for that.
And kind of a little bit, you don't like fading like that.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, and I don't know if we have the right colors for it. Could have done it with the 3 colors of this, but this is way too much yarn for that. Maybe on my next sweater, the leftovers of this can do that. That would be really fun. But honestly, this is one of the few patterns I've done more than once. There aren't that many other patterns I can legitimately say I've done multiple times. And part of that is because I get a sample for the shop, I'm done. And part of that is because the Papillon, it's so popular, it's so much fun to knit. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. But as we were talking about before, the possibilities are endless. And our first show, which had the Papillons in it, is still our most popular from our very first one, where all we really did was it was short. That's another reason probably too.
We talked about Papillons for a whole 8 minutes.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, anyway. So So the one I've been referencing for a while now is the Jupiter crop. I don't have a picture of it. It's one of the few patterns I have not yet printed out. It's on my phone, but it was really fun to go on my phone and figure out in books that
She
I
figured
could
out how to
color.
color it.
Because I edit a lot of photos and use the little color tool. I said, I wonder if that's in iBooks. It is. It was fun to help plan out what I'm doing. I'm using like 5 colors. I'm using Juniper Moon Patagonia. And I just discovered that the purple that I'm using is out of stock and hard to reorder. Luckily, I have enough for my sweater. I may not have enough if you want to copy me. So we'll have to find you some other luscious colors. So far, morning meditation, when I did this last week, I had these parts done up here. This is going to have color work throughout the whole sweater, not just the yoke. I am to the green now. You can just barely see it in there. I'm to the green. I probably will need to switch to longer needles really soon, if not already. I'm only on a 24-inch right now, so this looks like a cowl, but it is a yoke sweater. So I got the green and the yellow that I've already used. They're kind of muted but springy. It's really fun. My contrast throughout the whole thing is this luscious dark purple that, like I said, I cannot get more of right now. But they just introduced a new color. Oh, I found something else fun in here. They just introduced a new purple that is like this but a little warmer, and I probably will order that, and that could still be really fun to make a sweater out of. Because you don't want to perfectly copy, right? You want to have a little bit of your own stuff going on. These are the other 2 colors that I'm going to be using.
It's like nice and muted and bam, and nice and muted and bam.
There's, yeah.
You need assistance.
No. I'm not holding up the purple. It's all good. So these are the colors that are going to pop against the purple. Anyway, no, that I still hadn't. I went, ooh, look, the last project that was in here was this striped sweater. It's like it's a new sweater bag, right? I brought home all this stuff from the shop, all these unfinished projects that have been like languishing in the pit of despair. I could have so many project bags free if I actually go through that. It'd be crazy.
I didn't get to them fast enough, but she came in on a Monday, so
they'll languish at home and maybe get cast off and brought in. Some of them are yarns we don't carry anymore, so they're not getting finished, and they're not going to be in the shop because we don't carry those yarns anymore. This is my collection of all of the ends that came off of this sweater. Like, this is how many ends I wove in and cut off. I just think that's fun to show y'all. So yeah, if you're going to do the striped sweater and not carry the yarn, because I thought that would create extra bulk to carry the yarns over all the stripes. So instead I wove them in. This is what you got to deal with at the end. So, but I did, and it looks wonderful, and I'm really happy with it. So the not carrying the ends all the way down, or the yarns all the way across, like from here to here and here to here and here to down there, I think actually gave me some flexibility, because sometimes when you're carrying yarns and pulling them over each other, where you switch, it's stuck. It hopefully goes well, but if it doesn't, you're stuck and you can't fix that. If it's gappy, if it's pulley, if you're weaving your ends in, you have a little more control. That can still be gappy and pulley, but you have a little more control when you weave your ends in of how it looks. And I'm really happy with how the change of color is straight down the back of the sweater the entire time. The sweater I showed you here, I'm changing skeins in the back until the armhole separation, and then it moves to the side. And honestly, on another yarn, I wouldn't be changing skeins, but the end of round is in the middle of the back until the sleeve separation, and then it's under the arm. But this one, it just kept going all the way down the back.
So what I hear you saying is, if you're a control freak, you pay the price for that with cutting or weaving.
You decide which thing's going to annoy you more if you're a control freak. Yes. And for me, it was having the bulk and not really being in full control over what happened. Like, you still have control, but you got to be aware of it and really paying attention to it. So yes, you heard right, Liz. I think that's everything I wanted to show off. Look, isn't this lovely? This might be the same person who called like 15 minutes ago, and guess what? We're still not open. So, but we should wrap up soon.
We should.
I'm
we
thinking
should
about
go over our weekly schedule.
Yes, we're gonna go over our weekly schedule. We are going to. I have all these yarns and things I wanted to show off, and there's not really time if we don't want to be rushed. Because look at everything I've got to clean up now, before our 10 o'clock appointment. But tomorrow's the most dangerous show of the week, and the most dangerous show of the week. What we talk about on that show goes on sale for a week. And not everything I want to tell you about is going to be on sale as much as you might want it to be on sale. Remember, today is really the last chance to get Lorna's laces at 15% off, the stuff that we showed off last week. So if you like Lorna's laces, product of the week, go online to our category or walk up to the shop or make an appointment. We have a couple of appointments left today, but not a lot, to get that discount, to get 15% off Yummy Lorna's laces. It won't be talked about tomorrow. So something else will. Something maybe we want to get online. Maybe we'll talk about something fun for spring that is already online. I don't know. We never decide until the day of. Maybe the night before. Probably not. Anyway, but there's all these fun new colors and a few new yarns. Mostly it's new colors of yarns we already carry that I want to show off. There's also, we've mentioned them. There's these lovelies. They're online. They're combos of what I made my Stay Out of the Forest shawl with. We're not going to give it minutia detail right now because we got to go. But they're online and they're gorgeous and you should check them out. We'll see you tomorrow for the VSC, Most Dangerous Show of the Week. Things that go on sale for 15% off for a week. Yay. And then Thursday
is Dear Becky and Lizzy.
Mm-hmm. We had a bunch of letters last week.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I have any.
And if we don't, that's okay. We'll talk about the yummy yarns that aren't on sale but are gorgeous, and you get to see what colors we have. I forgot to put one in my newsletter this week, so you know.
If you want to send us a paper letter with a real life stamp and all that fun stuff, Dear Becky and Lizzy, Sundragon Art and Fiber, 35 South.
I almost said .com. I do too much online stuff right now. Sorry.
35 South Broad Street, Brevard, North Carolina 28712, or email me. Liz@sundragonartandfiber.com.
The whole thing written out.
Yep.
And yes, that's Dear Becky and Lizzy. I'm like, nighttime schedule tonight and Friday night are virtual sit and stitch as always. And if
6 to 9 Eastern. Sorry.
Yes, join us with the Zoom code on Zoom of the shop phone number. You want to do it?
828-877-3550.
Yes, you got it. 828-877-3550. That was just for fun for me.
I don't know our phone number.
No.
98% of the time.
Well, she doesn't have to call it.
No.
You know. So that's how you join in the weight room. I will click to admit you and hang out with us. It'll be fun. So our next Saturday afternoon sit and stitch is April 17th. It's on Facebook Live and Zoom with the same phone number. It's also Local Yarn Store Day. And guess what? We will not be open on Local Yarn Store Day because we are doing our event virtual from our houses because I'm not fully vaccinated yet. So this is the most that we spend maskless around each other. And even once we're both fully vaccinated, I'm halfway there. I'm so excited. Even though it was a fun weekend, even though we will both be vaccinated, we're still going to play that by ear because we're still not just going to be like, throw caution to the wind because of our one shot thing. That's one layer of Swiss cheese. So, yeah, so that brings us full circle to, doesn't matter your vaccination status or your health status or whatever, you need an appointment to come in the shop. And we have limited appointments every day. They're very easy to sign up for online, sundragonartandfiber.com. You scroll down, you'll find it, or you can find a link that says shopping appointments. It's super easy to sign up. It really, really is. If you don't know your schedule or you don't want to use online signups, or you don't want to come in the shop, we can help you outside. Anytime, Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5, we can help you outside.
And for the inside, 2 people max per appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're trying to.
We're really trying. like once we go to more than 2 people, then there's a lot of, even though this looks like a big airy open shop, that's a lot of people in the shop for our comfort level and for a lot of our customers' comfort level right now.
Yeah.
It's only one appointment at a time. It's not, we're not doing limited capacity as in like, 50%, something like that. We don't even know what the capacity of this place is. It's probably huge. We want to help, we want to give you individualized attention. We want to help maximize your half an hour in the shop. We also want to know what we all touch. So make an appointment. Yeah. It's super easy. And we have a lot of very satisfied customers because we go boom, 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 boom. We got you hooked up. So
with the lockdowns and everything, people forget how much stuff we have in the shop. It's a lot.
It can be very overwhelming if you come inside.
Yeah.
Some people find it more beneficial to shop outside because they're looking for a specific project. They're looking for something more targeted than they might realize. And we bring out the things that are going to work. We know our shop really well, and we're going to help you find. If we have it, we will help you find it.
And even with the targeted shopping that we do, we bring armfuls of yarn outside for people to choose from. So it's not like, here's 2 skeins. Would you like A or B? How about C or D? Which one's better?
Now
we will try and bring out as many.
Now the caveat for that is if you want a really specific fiber and a really specific color, we are not a magic box.
No.
So we may not be able to help you there. And that doesn't mean that we're hiding it from you. It means that we really just don't have it. So the countdown is on in the little upper window of our appointment coming in pretty soon, and hot mess on the table. So we love you all. We miss you. Stay safe.
Sign up for
so
us.
Close.
We're 487.
We're so close. 13 more people and we can have a YouTube only sale. 13 more people subscribing. Oh my gosh. So close. My tips and tricks is about to outpace us. We can't let that happen. So, I mean, I'd love it, but we can't let that happen. So,
because she's not doing a sale for tips and tricks.
If you watch, maybe next time. I don't know. Not this time. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Everybody benefits. At least help the algorithms out, as they say on other channels, by liking. So give it a thumbs up.
Ding the bell.
Alerts, all that kind of stuff. Leave us a comment, that kind of thing. Have a great Tuesday. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.